athletic director and varsity basketball coach. So we're going to go over a little bit of procedures, some rules, expectations. But first I'd like to introduce the coaches. We have some new ones, so we'll start there. Go ahead, girls basketball.
My name is Connor Bonner. I am the varsity girls basketball coach this year.
That's all the rest of the
Chris Siebert, JV boys basketball coach.
Kristen Lanta, JV girls basketball. That's girls basketball too.
Okay, and my C-spot coach is not here, Shane Barrett. If hopefully everyone has gone through the process of getting cleared with physicals, impact testing, and this huge packet. If you haven't, today is a good time to get that process started. Charlie Feely's down in her office, so you can stop by later. And Mr. Westerman is going to take some time and go over some of the eligibility procedures. Okay.
All right. I just want to show you a quick video. Some of you have seen this, saw it on the news, but it may help us have a little discussion about some of these.
Football practice in Basket, where several players are missing on the field.
We have a pledge for our athletes.
District Business Manager Chrissy Jarvis says those students were suspended for the rest of the season for breaking the athletes' code of conduct at a recent party. Some of them were caught smoking marijuana around a bonfire. But the parents of two of those suspended athletes say their boys didn't take drugs. 8th grader Tristan Still
Say no, leave the situation. That's what he did.
and freshman Austin Lacey
Did you smoke it? He goes, no, Dad, I have goals.
Their parents say their boys were stuck at the sleepover. It was well after midnight and they can't drive. Carl Lacey says when he dropped off his son, he told him he wouldn't be home and his mother can't drive after dark, so the boys didn't call home. Instead, these parents say their sons considered the code of conduct and did what they thought was right.
So he did what he thought the best he could do to get away from the situation. Go up and go into the house. Evidently that wasn't sufficient.
It's something that I would take very seriously.
Jarvis says she can't speak specifically about this case, but says it was thoroughly investigated by multiple school officials. She also points to where the code says students are responsible for being aware of their surroundings, and if illegal consumption is taking place, they must take immediate steps to leave the activity safely.
Our pledge is very, very clear.
Kristen's mom argues, not in this case.
But my son left the activity, which was the pot smoking, and immediately left inside the house to go to bed. That's how I'm interpreting it. That's how half the town is interpreting it.
Austin's father says he met with the principal and was told the boys should have started walking home or called the parents. He also says despite suspending the boys, the school commended them for not doing drugs.
And I go, why are we here? She goes, I'm trying to send a message. I said, the message you're sending is contradiction and hypocrisy.
Jarvis offered a different reason.
Ensuring that they represent themselves and our district to the highest standard is our job.
The parents are in the process of appealing the suspension. At this point, they say it's not just about their kids missing games, it's about the principle of what happened. Tina, it's not over yet.
So, with that said, I want to avoid that. The worst thing that I have to deal with sometimes, or that Mr. Stelgis would have to deal with, is a student athlete who loses the ability to play or to be there for the team. So there are a couple of things that I want you to be very careful of reading if you've already turned this in, like most of you have, it's also online, so you can go through the code of conduct and make sure that the things are followed that are in here. So in the order that it's in here, there's some things I just want to highlight. Something that causes missing practices sometimes or missing games is when you have a medical or dental appointment during the school day and you don't get a note because it goes down as an absence, but we need to have a note from the doctor if that happens. So that's one of those areas that you would see on page 3 if you're going to do that. You have to be cleared for practice that day. If you visit a doctor for an injury of any kind, whether it's here at school, on the practice field, or on the practice court, or wherever it is, it might be the weekend and you're out snowmobiling, and you get a head injury of some kind, or you hurt yourself. You go, if you send that student to practice and you know that they have somehow hurt themselves, it's something that we can't help with. So there's some rules about that. If the athlete visits a doctor for a medical condition or an injury related to the sport or activity, the parent must notify the school. In this case, the athlete must provide a medical note to either middle school or high school, depending on the athlete, clearing the athlete for full practice before he or she can participate. If a parent holds an athlete out of practice for recovery from an injury not treated by a doctor, the parent must provide a note stating the parent's permission for the student to return to practice. So we just want to be careful that if something's happened, that we're not putting that student in harm's way. When it comes to the code of conduct, it's a 365-day contract that you're entering into. So make sure that you know that it will cover from this point forward, or if you signed it because you played a fall sport, it's been in effect the whole time. When it comes to the major offenses that we sometimes have to deal with involving drugs, alcohol, tobacco, there are some specific guidelines in here as far as penalties that you should know about in case there are those kind of infractions. When it comes to academics, this is a no pass, no play school district, which means that we check grades every single Thursday morning. And so on Thursday morning, if there comes a time where there's a failing grade on that report, the student is ineligible from the next Monday through the following Saturday. We don't believe it's fair to the team or the coach to pull that student out immediately on a Thursday afternoon when they're preparing for Friday night, Saturday night events, okay, or something on Thursday. So the consequence comes the following week, okay? So athletes, as I look at you, don't let your team down, because they're preparing for you in whatever role you're playing. Keep your grades up. And I know some of the coaches will help you. They would prefer that you be working on your school instead of maybe participating in practice that day, or fully participating, maybe taking that time on a Wednesday to really get your grade up, going to the library during our lift, those kinds of things. But your coaches will help you. Let them know if you're struggling with that. When it comes to attendance, you need to be in school the entire school day to be able to practice or compete in a contest that day. That means not being tardy to school or tardy after lunch. That can sometimes be a problem if we wind up having a change of the schedule. And we change schedules a lot around here. So know that you, when you leave, you better check what time that the fifth period starts, if it's a regular day, or if it's a day we move the schedule around a little bit, it might be a sixth period class that you have to be careful about. So please do that. We don't want to let anybody down. When it comes to the part that was in that video, know that tobacco also includes anything to vape with. Juuls or any other kind of e-cigarette or vape, those are violations of tobacco. Now, in some districts, it's a violation of their drug and alcohol policy, which is even bigger than a tobacco infraction. But please make sure you and your teammates are not engaged in any of that kind of thing. Also, the part in this, again in this video, is there's a line in here that it's at the very beginning of this page that talks about the code of conduct. All students shall refrain from using alcohol, drugs, or tobacco either on or off campus throughout the calendar year or from knowingly remaining present when drugs, alcohol, or tobacco are being consumed by those under the legal age. If you're with your family, they're all adults, that's different. But if you go someplace where there is anybody underage that is consuming, then you need, if you discover it and you walked into that situation, you're out of there immediately. You make sure that you are gone, and in this case, they said that they didn't call their parent. If you're the parent, I hope that you expect that your son or daughter is going to call you to come pick them up immediately. Don't let a party of some kind turn a season backward for the team. Don't let the fact that maybe you are not reachable stop them from being able to do the right thing, which would be, there should be a parent there if there's a party going on. They tell that parent immediately that they need to get out of there so that they can find a way to show that you're not engaging in any of that, and not sticking around. Okay? So there are a lot of other things in here to pay close attention to. I know the coaches will go over some of the inherent risk information about the different sports, and those are in this packet. But again, if you want to reread any of this, we do have some copies up here, but also go online to look at that at our school website and go under athletics, and then you'll see the copy of this. I don't want to be, I'm trying to not be the bearer of bad news. I'm trying to make sure that this doesn't happen, because, and it usually doesn't, but every once in a while, something happens that we have to deal with. Any questions about the code of conduct, grades, attendance? All right, now that I've really cheered you up.
Okay, so we're going to split up into our sporting groups. Wrestling cheer, you can stay here.